Hey Gear Seekers, I'm Nick. Today we're building in another Antec FLUX case, part of their FLUX series, the DF700 FLUX. Wow, I said FLUX quite a few times. Now, I'm not going to dive into all the things that are included with this case because it's basically the same as the other FLUX cases. The design and the chassis is exactly the same as well. The major difference here being that it's got 3 addressable RGB fans up the front and it's got a mesh front too. So let's do a build with it and see if it's any good. And then we're gonna do thermals and all that stuff towards the end of the video. But enough talking, let's get right into it. ladies and gents, I hope you enjoyed the build in the Antec DF700 FLUX. Before we get into anything else, let's quickly take a look at the thermals. What you're seeing on screen right now is the thermals are pretty dang good. The GPU temperature is what actually surprised me most, considering it didn't change whatsoever with both all of the panels being on and all of the panels being off. So yeah, pretty good. CPU temperature is only slightly different with all the panels on, which is actually really good too. This is looking like one of Antec's best airflow cases to date. Let's jump into everybody's favorite part of the video and let's chat about the parts in the system. The motherboard is the MSI X570 Ace. On the Ace, we put the Ryzen 9 5900X. To cool the 5900X, we use the EK AIO Elite. A lot of people have been asking to see this more, so I decided that it was time to use it again in this build. For storage, we went with the drive that we've never used before. It just randomly arrived. It's the ZADAC or ZADAC. I don't know how to say it actually. It's the Spark drive. It's a full RGB M.2 drive, and it's a 2 terabyte drive. Although it's PCIe Gen 3, it doesn't really matter. I wanted to use it because of all that RGB bling it's got, and it kind of suits the look of this system, and I think it actually has some of the better M.2 RGB. Not that you need lighting on your M.2 drives. For RAM, we went with 16 gigs of Team Group T-Force XTREEM ARGB at 3600 megahertz. The GPU is the MSI RTX 3070 Supreme X. We actually did a full review of this the other day. You can check that out in the top right-hand corner right now. It's a fairly decent GPU. It's just very expensive and very, very hard to get your hands on. And I know people are going to ask about the cables used in this system. They're the Lian-Li Strimer Plus cables. There's always a link in the description, so just check out the description before you ask the question. What cables are those? Hey Claire, what cables are those?
No idea.
What cables are those, Claire?
Don't know.
What cables are those?
No.
But what cables are they?
Shoelaces.
Okay, they're shoelaces, that's fair. And the additional fan on the rear, you saw me remove it in the video, is an EK DRGB fan. It's actually one of the fans that comes with the AIO Elite. However, because of the clearance and the height of the top of this case, you can't actually put it in push-pull, so it actually allows me to use one of the 3 spares as an exhaust fan. I also decided not to do intake on the PSU shroud because from the testing that we've done with the other Flux cases, it doesn't actually help that much with the cooling of the GPU, so it doesn't make much sense to use it. Although for looks, it does look really good. However, it does make it a little bit harder to plug things in and just tweak things if I need to do anything like that, and to use the cables. What cables are they, Claire?
No idea.
Okay. If you don't know, then I don't know. I suppose we should probably talk about the DF700 and what I think about this case in general. Now, most of the Flux cases that we've looked at based on this platform have been pretty good. There've been a few odd design choices with the silence focus ones, and they have like included 5¼ inch drive bays. This case doesn't have it, which makes it awesome. There's a few things that this case really has going for it. The first thing is 5 included fans like the rest of the Flux series. However, 3 addressable RGB fans up the front. Now they're DC fans, however, they plug into the fan hub of this case, which actually allows for PWM fan control plugged into your motherboard. So you can make them quite quiet. I have them on a noise normalized level right now. They are a little bit loud, but it's because I was doing testing just before this and whatnot. So yeah, they are cranked up a little bit louder than usual because I didn't change the fan curves to make it a bit more quiet for filming. I don't care, sometimes I just like to leave it so you can hear how loud it is. But overall, these fans aren't that loud. The fans you're actually hearing, if you can hear anything, is the rear EK fan, which can get quite noisy when it's ramped up. The thing for me personally that really makes this case stand out against the other Flux cases is Antec gave us a proper mesh front. I kind of like the design on the front. It's kind of like this twisted metal kind of design on the front, or like a half folded sheet. Is that kind of what it is? Like a, I don't know what you call that. Like a, I don't know what it's called. Anyway, the mesh front on this does make this a far more appealing case. And here's why. The other Flux cases have that front mesh fan filter, the magnetic one that I always say, if you're gonna be using a Flux case, completely remove it. They've completely removed it for this case because of that mesh front. The second thing is the fact that it's got a mesh front with easy to clean mesh up the front. Dust actually gets caught in the mesh and it's just as easy as wiping it with a cloth to clean it, which is pretty good. I have another case, the Cooler Master NR600, which is quite similar with the grade of the mesh, so like the distance between each hole, and cleaning that case is much the same, and the actual texture and the way the mesh feels is almost the same as that case as well. It seems like they've made a few tiny refinements between each of these flux cases, and this one is the best of the bunch. For only, are you ready for the price, Claire?
Hit me.
The Australian price is $119. Now, we don't have official US pricing yet. This case is already out in Australia, mind you. It's not out anywhere else, which is so weird because I saw a bunch of blogs and tech sites announcing it yesterday, but we've had it in Australia for a little while, so it's a little bit odd. Anyway, 119 Aussie dollars. Now, if we look at the DP502, also $119. The US price for the DP502, which is one of the other flux cases, is 75 US dollars. So I'm gonna guess this is also going to be 75 US dollars. And for 75 US dollars with 5 included fans, 3 of them being ARGB and a mesh front, I gotta say it, this is gonna be pretty good bang for buck. Because there's other little things like GPU clearance, there's almost like no restriction, like 400 and something mil GPUs. There's not many GPUs that have ever existed that have been that long. The fact that you can now quite easily put a 360 AI up the top or up the front or anywhere you like. The included reverse pitch fan that goes on the PSU shroud, and the fact that you can put fans on the PSU shroud if that's something you want to do. Also nice. And I know I've seen other people comment that the power supply will block that off. It doesn't really block it off that much. I think the DF700 is easily the best case in the whole Flux lineup if you're into RGB and mesh front cases, which I'm guessing most of you are. Anyways, yeah, that's it. 75 US dollars is what I'm gonna guess this is gonna cost. And if you wanna know what all the parts are in this system, I'll put a PC part picker list down below in the description. If you like the music you heard here, I make all the music, it's available on our Patreon. If you wanna get early access to videos just like this one, it's available over on Floatplane. Once again, thank you so very much for watching. I'm your boy Nick with Gear Seekers. You peek, we seek. And this is, again, is definitely the best of the Flux series. That mesh front and the RGB fans just make it so much more attractive, and I'm gonna guess that the price is gonna be 75 US dollars. Everything is indicating that. I did ask Antec, they haven't got back to me for the price yet, but I'm gonna say it, it's gonna be 75 US dollars based on the other cases, or maximum 79 US dollars. Anyways, guys, thank you so very much for watching, and I hope you enjoyed our new animations and stuff. Yeah. Gear Seekers theme song's gone. It's time, we gotta move on. We gotta push on into the future. Thanks for watching.